Okay, just got out of Godzilla vs. Kong. Fucking awesome movie. Um, it just felt good to be like, you know, in a theater, fairly busy theater, with a bunch of people vibing on a blockbuster movie. Like this is a really good in theater movie. Um, and I would never like I could have watched just sat at home watched this on HBO Max. No fucking way was I going to do that. This one had to be seen in a theater. It has to be seen in a theater. It's fucking great. Um, they kind of just do everything right with this thing. Like the last Godzilla movie, King of the Monsters, that was I was hugely disappointed with that movie. Because that one I thought people always say that, like, oh well, you don't need to have any sort of human characters or any story. It's just you just want to see monster fight. Well, yeah, but you have to have something. You have to have something, of some interest and some quality to connect it all. That last one didn't have it at all. I didn't think this one really does. I think for the most part, there's a couple little parts that are kind of like very filler and cheesy and stuff, but for the most part, that stuff really works. They space it out really well. Like you don't get the first big fight till well into the movie, but then they kind of they give you your money's worth. And there's like there's a whole third act thing that I don't think I knew about, but maybe if you read every thing or watched every video or something leading up to this movie, you maybe knew what was gonna happen. But there's like a whole extra fight thing going on in the third act that's just fucking awesome. It's got one of my favorite moments in a movie like this that I think I've ever seen. If I was the type to like stand up and cheer at a theater, I probably would have done it because it was so fucking just perfect. Um, but they really nailed this one. I think. It's very much it's Godzilla versus Kong. It's much more of a Kong movie in my opinion. I think they all realize that like Kong is much more interesting as a like a solo character. Godzilla's got to have like other stuff happening to be as interesting. Um, and like Kong is fucking awesome. Like Skull Island was. I still might put Skull Island ahead of this, just because I really love Skull Island. But this is very close to that. I think. They just really like they have to. I know this movie's already making a bunch of money overseas. They got to make more Kong movies, at least. They can make more Godzilla movies. That's fine. Like the two that have been focused on Godzilla so far, like in this kind of, I guess you could call it a monster universe or whatever they want to call it. I wasn't like the 2014 one I thought was solid, and then the King of the Monsters I thought was a huge disappointment. But you know, they could make more Godzilla movies. I wouldn't be opposed to it, but um, they got to do more Kong. But yeah, they did. You know, maybe could have used a little more like good comedy. There's some comedy in it. They got the kid from all those Taika Waititi movies and Deadpool 2. Julian Dennison is in this, and he's got a bunch of comic relief moments. Some of them don't really work, but there's a whole like side quest thing with him and Billy Bobby Brown and Brian Tyree Henry that's you know um, a little kind of like superfluous at first, but then it kind of connects with everything else that's going on, so it's worth it. You know, you know, no great characters or anything in it, but it's enough. They don't need to overdo with characters. Like I thought that first 2014 Godzilla movie, that they spent way too much time just doing the human character stuff, and I think a lot of people hated that movie because it was they weren't even really showing Godzilla. But no, I think they really fucking nailed this. It's you know just a great fucking movie to just sit there and enjoy. Like, it ain't gonna win any awards, none of that. I think I'll be curious to see how it does. I mean, a Wednesday afternoon showing was fairly packed. I mean, they still have like reduced capacity and stuff, but people seem to be vibing with it pretty good. Um, I hope it does really well because it's really fucking good. Like you know, been to plenty of movies since theaters are reopened. We haven't had these ones. These have been the movies getting delayed for forever. But so it's been a while since I've even had a chance to see something like this on the big screen. I didn't even, I didn't like the last Wonder Woman that much, but I didn't even get that. That wasn't even one that I was able to see on the big screen. But like this was just fucking cool. I might even try to see this again with my A-list, where it wouldn't really cost me much. But yeah, they really fucking nailed this movie, and kudos to all involved. I'm not familiar with the director's name. I'll have to look him up. He's probably directed something I've seen, but yeah, I think they really nailed this one. This one and Skull Island are both really just superb movies. But yeah, I would give this, do a ratings term. I would give this like a 9 out of 10. I think this is really fucking good. And I hope it brings people back to the theaters, because this is something that I like. You watch this something like this now, and I couldn't imagine if I had tried to sit there and watch this on my phone. Like, no, theaters, do it. So yeah, Godzilla versus Kong. Kong bows to no one. And he shouldn't, because he's awesome. Because he's an awesome character in the two movies that they've used him for. Everything works with him. Most of the stuff works with Godzilla, and there's that nice little surprise that I didn't know was going to be in the movie, but that third act thing, and you'll know it when you see it. The moment that I would have fucking stood up and cheered in the theater if I was the type to do that. One of the coolest fucking things I've ever seen. So yeah, great movie.